Alright, y'all, welcome to today. Finally got some presents from Z1 Motorsports, and I'm about to take everything in the engine bay apart with this 14mm socket. So no big deal. Intake off, strut bar off, and I don't think I have to worry about too many hoses coming off when I lift the engine. It doesn't look like anything's gonna be pulled back here or in the front, so I'm just gonna get the bolts from the bottom. I'm about to show you those and loosen those up, and then I can try to figure out how to get to the top of the mounts. So we're gonna go from the bottom and just blast them bolts out real quick. There's one on this side obviously and one over there. All right guys, so this side was fairly simple, the driver's side. To get to the top bolts are the hardest part of doing the engine mount job, and they're right up here down in this little crevice. To get that nut, it's a nut, but it came out with the whole stud for me in my case. So it's a 14. So in my case, it came out with the stud, but essentially the stud stays in to the engine mount, and you get off this 14mm nut. So what I did was took a stubby 14mm, put it right onto where. So I'm in the front of the engine right now. I came through the front top and I got my nut over the stud and onto the nut. It takes a little bit of finesse, but once I got it on there, I was able to just keep the wrench there while I got my hand out. And then I came under the car, and from here I was able to get where the wrench would be sticking off, like right here. And I used all this space, utilized it to swing a hammer and hit the wrench. You have to be really precise and make sure you hit it right onto the wrench, and keeping the wrench at the angle it needs to be in case not to strip it. And then from there I just jacked it up and got it to where it was high enough to where I can reach up in here and finesse it out. I need a little bit more room. So I go slow because I just don't want anything to be hitting anything or pulling on something. So I gave myself a small amount of room, nothing crazy. I'm just gonna keep going small by small until I get just enough to finesse this out. It's not focusing on the right thing, man. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, I gotta finesse this thing out of here. It's almost tall enough. It's got a couple more jacks to go. There it goes, man. I think I got it. I'll just drop it down there. This big behemoth. God. One down, one more to go. Fire. Sheesh. I don't know if y'all heard that, but anyway, so next step is to install, right? So I got some Oh, there it is. So I got some Z-Wood Motorsport fully aluminum engine mounts. They're like way cheaper than the OEM mounts. I think they're like $125. I'll put a link to them. That way you can just go straight to them if you're gonna watch this video and do your own. So yeah, let's go ahead and install it. So the bottom is 17, the top is 14. They're way smaller than, like they're the same height, but they're not as... Oh, is that? Oh, yo, good looks, bro. This shit is fire. You got a tune on it? Yeah. Back, but talk about sketchy. I got a little sketchy for you. I got a jack pumping up the engine and a jack pumping up another side of the engine, leaning on the first jack, and it's kind of, you can wiggle it, but it works. You know what I'm saying? I got space now. I just have to figure out how to, I think I'll just put like a nut or the nut to hold it in place on top first and just like guide it down. And that should work.
Like a Mishimoto one.
Yo, peep how sketchy this is though.
This shit probably looking crazy.
It's not looking dumb, but it's like how I had to make like this side go up more. You feel me?
Damn. Well, it's in there though.
Huh?
It's in there though.
Exactly. Yeah. I just gotta let this shit go.
Oh no, the screw down all the way down on the mount.
On the top?
No, on the bottom.
Like it didn't go through?
Yeah. Like it's, I think it's up against the subframe, the board itself.
Oh no, you good? Cause I have the nut on the top holding it from the top.
Oh, okay.
Cause like when I was putting it down, it didn't have it wasn't staying either way. You feel me? So
I'm just making sure it's going through the hole.
Nah, I feel that. Yo, we back, bro.
We back. It's 360 Sneak HD in the building. Follow my channel. Had to go ahead and collab with it, bro. You feel me?
Right off the bat with the plug. No games. So you see it's nighttime out here, right?
Yes, we've been out here a few hours now, getting it.
So this could go either way, but I got some swivels going through the manifold and making its way down to the bolt that you're not gonna be able to see. So yeah, let's see what happens. Let me get some light down here too, for sure. Let's see what I'm doing. Let me see the regular light. Oh yeah, she's still on there. Alright. That's not good. Why she don't want to move? Hey, what's up, guys? It's a new day, of course. Still working on the engine mounts. The biggest issue the other night was the nut on the passenger side it's really hard to get to, you know, so you have to figure out a plan to try to get around everything to get to the boat. You can't really see it. And we were really struggling because we couldn't see it, and on top of that it was getting dark out, so using flashlights and maneuvering around was just getting to be too much. Our first try we ended up stripping it, which made it harder to get out in general, so I had to go ahead and buy Irwin's extractor kit, and I went and did that. I got the deep socket one, and I was able to get it right on top of the boat and connect a joint to the socket, and then connect from the joint an extension, and then from the extension I used an impact wrench. It was hard to get a lot of torque on it with just using a bar because of the way everything is played out or mapped out. So it's really deep on the passenger side. Obviously you gotta move the intakes like I did and all that, no problem. But I ended up removing the heat cover for the manifold, and I was able to go through right here, this little area in the front, and right down there, let me see if I can show you, right in here, right in there, whatever. Alright, what's down there is the bolt, and you can just go through the top of the manifold as long as you get that heat gasket off of there, or heat cover off of there. When you go through the top, it's much easier. So that's just like a little thing that I found, a little tip that I found out while doing it. Everybody was saying to use like a ratcheting wrench, and like the bendable ones, the bendable ratcheting wrenches, and it just didn't seem like I could get that to work. So I ended up taking up the heat cover, and I found out there's like access right through there. Yeah, so I got it out using, you would just use like a regular deep socket. I just, like I said, like my first attempt, I rounded out the bolt, so I ended up using this without, I didn't want to play any games. I just went and got this, and obviously it grabbed it right up. So I had to order a new bolt, and then I can put the new engine mount in. So now that I got that out of the way, I can get under the car and start trying to get this thing out of here, out of sight, out of mind, because I do not need this thing no more. I had to go ahead and get sketchy again. Hopefully that's enough to get this thing out of here. Just like it will be. Oh, it is. Alright, I got the new one in. So yeah, now I just gotta torque the bottom and then torque the top, and it should be good to go. Alright, so I can't really get you guys to see the nut, but if you get the socket down in here, it's like perfect access for it. You just have a long or extended socket and a swivel. Should be able to get right through the thing, and it kind of just fell right on it just now. Yeah, it's definitely meant for it, because it's like a little slot where you can just slide it right in there. So now that it's on there, I can just get an extension, connect it to that, connect it to my torque wrench, and torque it down. So I got everything installed. It's literally only 4 bolts for these engine mounts, but it took about like 5 hours maybe. If you follow that quick little tip about going through the manifold to get to that bolt on the top of the passenger side engine mount, then I feel like this job would be no more than 2 hours altogether. It only took me an hour for the first side, and the other side was just all about figuring out how to get to that bolt. So once I figured it out, it was super easy, and I was able to get it installed with no problem. So it should only take about 2 hours if you go with that tip. I haven't seen anybody else give out that information, so I feel like that's definitely useful. It would have been useful for me. So I got the heat shield back on. I got the heat shields for the intakes back on. Now I'm about to put the intakes back where they're supposed to go, and it should be all buttoned up and ready to go. If you saw the video where I put the cold air intake on, I struggled a lot with the fitment of the heat shields, and I couldn't get them on right. It took me like an hour or something crazy just to do the intake. So that was all because my engine was slanted from my engine mount going bad. The whole engine was tilted towards the passenger side, so it just created a whole bunch of problems. But now we got her right. She's looking good. Right here, you can see now it's even. It used to be this side was hanging low, this side was hitting the top of the strut. So now that everything's good, just gonna tighten this strut bar up.